All welcome to our Queen Sugar season 6 episode 10 finale.
You sounded
Oh,
extra country tonight. Hey y'all.
hey y'all. That's probably the
Y'all
most country part about
womans.
me is I say y'all. I don't know even where I don't know why. But first of all, let's start with the good news while we wait for people to come on. Queen Sugar has been renewed for a 7th and now final season. So
I am so excited. You know, when Ava hit me up and told me that, y'all,
Right.
I was just ecstatic. I'm so
yeah.
proud of you, Ava. Thank you.
Yes, Ava. I said last week, remember last week when I said, I was like, she's getting all these deals, all these production deals, all these first look deals. Like, I can't imagine that Queen Sugar doesn't get in there somewhere. So I'm super thrilled that they got one more season, summer 2022. I don't know if you guys saw that. So we'll probably be back next summer, recapping it. Hey, MD Terp. Hey, Karina. Karina says, I'm good with that because 7 is the number of completion.
Yes.
Yes, deep people.
I'm super excited that, it's another season of Queen Sugar is such a good show.
So good. I still feel like even with all of the content, like there's so many shows. I think I said hi MD Turk. Hey MD Turk. I know it's official when he's here. Even with all of the shows, I still feel like, hey Marcus, that Queen Sugar captures Black love, Black community, Black family, redemption is so important. Forgiveness is so important. I don't think any other show captures it the way that Queen Sugar does. Like, and they don't do it for the shock value or like, it's not soap opera-ish. It's really just like an emphasis on these relationships. And we get a lot of good, happy endings on Queen Sugar. So welcome, Ashley. Welcome, season. First of all, I have to just say, bravo. This episode, this is how you do it. This is how you do a finale, okay? Every Queen Sugar finale always has a good ending. I remember Aunt Vi had got married one finale. I forget what it was last season, to be honest with you. But anyway, it's always a good thing. So I'm glad they wrapped up a lot of things. I will be honest, some of it felt like it was a little too easy the way it got wrapped up. But I'm always here for a happy ending. So let's start. First of all, what were you guys' thoughts? I mean, how happy are you or unhappy are you with the finale?
You going?
I'll go first. I mean, It was cute. It definitely wrapped up some of the storylines way too neat. But it understood the assignment. That's what the kids say.
Yeah.
It did that.
Well, and I think it definitely gave us like, we don't know if we're going to get renewed. So let's just make sure that people ain't screaming at us because we got all these damn cliffhangers. So I appreciated that. Karina says the ending with Darla and Rob was predictable, at least for me. No midwife available. Head to the hospital. Let me know what y'all think. Okay, we're going to get to that. Ashley, what were your thoughts overall?
You know what? I really enjoyed the storylines being wrapped up in such a positive healing way rather than most shows leaving you with a dramatic cliffhanger. You don't know if somebody died or not. I really appreciate that. It gives me that like holistic, happy Black feeling. But at the same time, it's like you still got to stick to reality, bro. Like some of this would not end or happen like this. So yeah, I was here for it. I'd probably give it maybe a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Maybe a 9.
Season.
A 9.
Are you're thinking like you're looking 4. Like that's an 8. Season is what do you think? What is your rating?
I would give it a 9, but it was cute. I'm definitely not going to take away from anything about tonight's episode for sure.
Well, it was a perfect 10 for me because I had
so many knew it.
So many things I was rooting for happened tonight, so I'm thrilled. I'm over the moon, even though I'm a little like semi-sad about one part, but we'll get to that later. Let me see. Lots of comments. Okay, Trey Lovely Big says, if this is the final season, I feel like I'm happy how they gave us some resolution on everyone. No, it's not the final season. It's been renewed for season 7. That will be the final season. So, but what I do like, and we'll get into the recap. What I do like is that we're for the final season, I feel like it's really going to be a season of like renewal and like, you know, just continued growth. I feel like they've kind of gotten through a lot of the like really challenging parts of each of their stories. And hopefully it could just really be like, okay, what does their life look like now? You know, whatever. But we'll get into that later. Let's see. MD Terps says, I thought the finale was great. Trey Lily Biggs, I hate when they have cliffhangers and nothing more. I just wish they would have seen the baby girl. That was the only cliffhanger, was just like we didn't see the baby girl being born, but it's obvious that was going to happen. Obviously it was going to be pretty, you know, straightforward. So I'm not mad at that part, you know, because I was thinking like at 45 minutes into it, I'm like, okay, they got 15 more minutes. They still got a lot of shit that they got to get to. So I'm not surprised that part was short. But I will say, I thought that they handled it in such a tender, beautiful way. I loved just, you know, I look at the show. We're going to do a lot of shoulder shimmying tonight because
I was excited.
There were some beautiful moments. Hey, Shakira. So let's just start with Darla and Ralph Angel because we never start with them. So Darla is doing her thing this episode. I'm sure you ladies will agree because you guys are totally team Darla, that we've really seen her come into her own in a way that is so wonderful, not just for her family, but for the community. I mean, she's really stepping up to be like a trusted voice. And so when she I might have skipped something. I didn't write anything down before. So Darla and Ralph Angel talked about the fact that, you know, the most likely the farm is going to be a historic landmark and there won't be malls or anything else being done on the land. So there was a sense of relief there. Fast forward to the co-op the meeting where they were trying to convince the last guy, was it Cornell? I think, to sign on to the co-op. And mind you, we talked a little bit before we hit live stream. Cornell is like the problematic catch-all, like black character of the show. He's the guy that didn't want to fill out the paperwork for the settlement. He's the guy that was like, what is with this gay shit? You know, when it came to
we need to call him Rufus. Yeah, too sophisticated of a name for this nigga. He's just a problem.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he's not giving me Cornell. He's definitely giving
Cornell vibes. This nigga named Rufus Black.
He should be called Jimmy Dale, okay? He's definitely giving me Jimmy Dale vibes. So he's just the overall catch-all, like, okay, we need a problematic black-ass character on the show. Let's go get Jimmy Dale Cornell.
He don't have a high school diploma. He probably don't even have a high school diploma.
He's running a whole farm.
I just think, you know, he's one of those older school people that's just set in their ways. And so he's just going to be problematic on every issue there is to be problematic on. I mean, most people on the show are not, even Prosper is pretty progressive. Everybody's progressive-ish, you know. But Cornell, a.k.a. Jimmy Dale Cornell, is problematic. Trey Lily Big says, I know so many Cornells in my life, just unenlightened men all the way. Right. So, okay, season. What did you think about kind of the like negotiations that was happening with Cornell, trying to get him on board with the co-op, and Darla kind of playing an instrumental role in kind of bringing him on board?
I mean, I thought it was cool that she was able to really just get that pep talk, get that money, you know. She got them on board. She went to Cornell, Rufus, Jimmy Dale, whatever we tend to call him. He was like, you know what? I know I was like, I know this nigga a thief, but his wife kind of fine. So let me run him this money.
I know. Yeah, it was definitely a tag team going on. He was like, you make that sound real good. You make it sound like a pipe dream.
But you know, I want my children to get off their knees. And I was like,
you know what? I will say, Ashley, I really loved that line. Cornell said, he said, you know, I don't know if this is going to work, but I sure as hell want to see my kids off their knees one day. And I think that is such a powerful actual like sentiment, because I think Black people, especially talking about Black farmers, have dealt with so much systemic racism And Black people have always had
I'm sorry,
somebody's.
Reese, wait. I'm sorry.
What happened?
Because he said, I want my kids to get off their knees. And you saying it's powerful. It's just
No. But see, no, because what he's saying is, what he's saying is, I want to build generational wealth. I want to pass on something to where they're not scraping by crop after crop. And that's what the co-op does.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, yeah, and that's what I felt was really powerful about it, because it's like, he's stepping out of his comfort zone, not so much for himself, but because he understands that the impact this can have on his kids. And he, it's hard. It's a hard way of life to constantly be, under siege from these farmers. So I guess you don't find that phrasing very powerful.
We're just immature.
I found it. Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. My little 12-year-old boy came out real quick laughing at talking about they on their knees. Yes, that's all it was.
I didn't even go there. My mind did not even go there. Okay.
We went to UCLA, duh. Of course.
Us Cal State hoes, we don't even know how to think right.
We state schooled around here. The only thing about it is I like that he has some level of mature thought when it comes to Black people and his family, because he's been ignorant this whole season. Like he's just been saying stupid ass shit. Like he was the one that said that about Micah and Isaiah, looking at their pictures, calling them little fruits. Like it was just, come on, dog. You're ignorant. But the fact that you're able to see past your ignorance and realize this is bigger than you, this is something that can be generational, can change the trajectory of your family. Like I could respect that. Like you have one great thought and this is it. You actually are, you here for us. So sending Darla in was a perfect thing to do, because who could tell Darla no? She's just so sweet.
Yeah. So loving, she has a trusting face, right?
Absolutely. You believe that what she is saying is fact. So,
and she's pregnant. Like obviously they have a lot to lose. You know what I'm saying?
And her man is a thief. So, I can understand the sympathy on this. Sorry, Reese. It's Caesar's fault.
It is my fault. Because I just cringe. I get so mad when I see Ralph Angel still to this day. But
really?
Yes, I do.
Well, Brooklyn 401 says everyone has a Cornell in their fam. So fast forward, I'm just
going women in my family.
Well, then they're called on Vi. They're called on Vi's in that case. So even though I love on Vi, I'm not super anti on Vi like y'all are. But anyway, fast forward another scene. I know since I see what y'all on tonight, so I'm just gonna comment on this and move on to the next thing. But I thought it was very cute how Blue was cleaning up the room, disinfecting it for his baby sister, and him and Aunt Vi shared a very tender moment. So I like that, and I like that obviously. If I see both y'all ways. So y'all see what I'm dealing with.
Blue is so annoying. Any scene he's in.
That was a cute scene.
That was cute. That was cute. But I like that it kind of set the stage that if they did have to go to Aunt Vi's house, that there's going to be a loving atmosphere. Obviously, Aunt Vi has been such a beautiful force for Blue, and so it was just a nice throwback to how great they are together. But okay, let's fast forward. I'm not going to talk about the farm part per se, because that's a whole different plot. But so at the end of the show, Darla says my water broke, and I was like, oh my God, we're gonna have a baby today. But I mean, I don't know. I hate to be one of those people who's like, I just had a baby, because I feel like I say that every week. It's season, you're pregnant, you're a nurse.
You say that every week.
I say that every week too. Okay, this is the last week I'm gonna say it, because this is the season finale. But I don't know, it was irking me a little bit, like, okay, where's the tub? If you had planned on having the doula and that home birth, y'all sitting on this bed, just I don't see no plastic nowhere or whatever. So I was just a little bit like, okay, where's the about to have a baby shit going on? But I thought that Darla, I don't know if she's seen some videos, but she played the hell out of that part as, a pregnant woman. So Season, I'll get you to react to that first.
I mean, I didn't think where they supplies at like that. I mean, a lot of home births do happen in a regular smegular bathtub, or they labor in the bath, or and then they go give birth on a bed or whatever. So it didn't even dawn on me like, oh, where they shit? Wow, they sterile gloves and this. I didn't think about it, but the doula would, or the midwife would have showed up with a lot of stuff. Or the only person I know, one of the only people I know who had a home birth, she did have the supplies delivered to her home ahead of time. So I thought it was a good scene. I am kind of happy they spared us the whole pushing and
we didn't need 10 minutes of that.
Partially dirty baby. We know that it wasn't gonna be realistic.
Yeah,
so, but
especially in a pandemic. I mean, come on, they're still not gonna have
a home panty birth.
Yeah,
but I did want to at least know it happened. Like,
Karina's point is, where the hell does the doula midwife live that they couldn't make it on time? How the hell did Prosper and Billy make it? But was the bitch coming from New Orleans? What the fuck? Like,
I know that was weird.
That was very weird. That was very inconsistent with what I would have expected. Like, okay, well, what the hell is she doing? You know, like, oh, based on where you are, I'm not gonna make it on time. It just didn't add up for me. It did not add up for me, but okay, that's fine. Ashley, did you get enough of kind of the idea that, okay, Darla is going into labor, and I mean, were you satisfied with that, or did you want to see more?
No, I love that they gave us the anguish on her face and the pain that he goes through. I love the tenderness of Ralph Angel. You know, the good thing about this show is they have the men do things that you really want men to do. You know, like, I don't know if that type of man, I don't want to say exist, or if men are like that. I'm not saying that they don't exist.
Yeah.
I'm saying more so of how often or how does that really happen in that moment? Because I've never had a kid, you know, so I don't know if that is real, but it looked so real. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like it looked like this genuine. Is how it would. It looked very genuine.
It was so tender and sweet.
Yes, I mean, the way he played that, like, Kofi been getting on my nerves of Insecure, and his crying, that's what he does. But this scene just felt so real that it's like, okay, this is making me question, like, men are really like this out here in these streets, right? Like, this is beautiful. And then the ending, I love the scenes where they pull the camera back and you get to see the whole landscape of it. Yeah, those 4 rocking chairs were just so beautiful.
I didn't pay that much attention to the rocking chairs, but no, that's good.
Yeah, while she was giving birth, while the baby was crying or something like that. But as far as missing the tub, I did notice there was no supplies. But I thought maybe they just weren't, like, she's probably a couple of weeks early, you know, and that's why she doesn't have anything there. Was she early, or was she like around? She was 9 months.
They never really said exactly how far along she was at any given time. But I think she did just a beautiful job capturing that. I mean, I had a C-section. I'm glad I just got to skip all that shit about pushing and whatever the fuck. I didn't have to deal with none of that. It was just cut me open and we good. That was unpleasant, but it probably wasn't as unpleasant as the other shit that other people go through. Corina says 2 episodes, no crying from Ralph Angel. Marcus wants to be very clear. They in the country, people live a distance from each other. I mean, I still feel like midwives and doulas bust their ass to get to where they are. Maybe the whole thing was like, okay, we're on our way. But I just thought that was strange. But it's okay.
She said she wasn't gonna be able to make it though. She didn't say we about to leave. She said y'all about to do this on your own.
Yeah, she did say that. That's why I was like, what? What the fuck kind of where's the midwife at? The bitch in Cancun?
My man went to jail. He almost went to jail trying to get a check for you, and you're not even showing up. Oh no.
Robert says she was riding a scooter to the birth. Apparently, okay. But Shakira says Darla really made that scene look where I was waiting to hear the baby cry at the end. I was half expecting a cry at the end, but I'm not mad at it. I think that they kind of gave us enough. Like, okay, we know what's happening. She's having the baby. So I want to go back though to Trey, he said, Blue is so adorbs. Black kids are rarely shown to have this type of sweetness and innocence. That's what I always say, Trey. I always say that I love how Blue is a smart, sweet, wonderful kid. He's always been that way. I can't think of any other kids on any other show that are black kids that get a speaking role. You know, they have black kids kind of in the background as props, but as far as like getting an actual speaking role and having a personality and their own character development, I can't think of anybody else. But Karina says, moving on, Karina says, the situation just felt dangerous. A woman is closest to death during childbirth. I know it's a show, but still. Yeah, I just, I feel like, I don't know. It's being nitpicky. I know it's being nitpicky at the end of the day. I'm sure she's going to have a healthy baby, blah, blah, blah. But it just was like, oh, what the fuck? What you mean the midwife couldn't come? That was strange to me, especially because they didn't actually have the baby on camera. Mm-hmm. So it was really an unnecessary thing to be like, oh, they're going to be on their own, but we're not going to even see. Like, I could see if she like pushed the baby out right there while they're like, oh, too late, but it just seemed weird. Whatever. So the good news is that we're assuming Robert says Blue has that innocence they always give white kids. Mm-hmm. That's true. Look at them faces. Them screw faces are like, look, I'm not buying it.
I mean, maybe I agree with him. Yeah. I mean, we usually get like the precocious, witty,
the sassy, the comedic, comedic kid. Yeah. So, but. So let's talk about going back to the beginning of the show. I love the round table, the brother and sisters putting their heads together. You had Charlie, you had Ralph Angel, and you had Nova. And to me, their conversation strategizing about how to save the farm and with the co-op, I really feel like one of the things I love throughout the whole show is how there was like there was a collective action, there was teamwork, there was unity. And, we don't all have the same background, but we have perspectives and experiences and strategies that are helpful when we all come together. So I really, really love that. The co-op at that point, they talked about it, how it had 13 farmers. They were waiting on Coronel to join. They went into the history. They kind of touched on it last week. Again, this week, they talked about how there was a Thibodaux massacre where 60 black sugarcane workers were massacred because they wanted to form a union. And so essentially their remains were buried in mass graves throughout the parish. And the farm was one of those. And so that kind of set the stage for the next scene with Dominic, who went off on his own accord and got the landmark designation. And I was just like, okay, that was easy, but Season, what was your reaction to just number one, the initiative that Dominic took, and just kind of like, okay, that's wrapped up.
I mean, he been Johnny on the spot the whole fucking season. So it's not surprising that, it's kind of, I don't know, he definitely took the initiative, and I don't know what kind of conversations him and Nova have had other than, we need to get this done, but he pulled it through, and it was just kind of like, oh, that's so convenient and nice. He did this for Nova, and now he get to drop the panties, I was just like, okay, that's cute, but it was very nice and neat, and right on time, because from the looks of it, they had days. Right, they were down to the last few days before they signed over the farm to the Landry. So that's what's up. That was a cute little thing. I just don't know how realistic that really was.
Well, I mean, I get it was neat and convenient, but I feel like, to be honest, like there's always this perception of things being so daunting to do, but it's all about who and timing with everything. You know what I'm saying? It just so happens that Black folks rarely have the connections and the timing and the resources to make shit happen in the same way the white folks do. So I appreciated that, this was really not a savior thing, like some white person came in and saved the day. It was really like, from the community. And I love that. Trey Lovely Big says, Dominic is a real hero for that. What a great surprise for Nova when someone works their connection for you like that. They're a keeper. Yeah, and we've seen Nova work her connections. We've seen Charlie work for her connections. And really this season, and we'll get into this a little bit later when we talk about Charlie, like we didn't see Charlie fixing stuff as much. It was everybody else kind of working their magic. And so I was actually, it was nice to see them kind of utilize people around them. Ashley, what do you think about Dominic kind of being the one to make this happen as opposed to like Charlie working her connections or even Nova?
I think him coming and saving and putting on his cape for Nova is just all the beast needs. It's so cute. Like it's so adorable.
I love
because it's like you are not just saying I like you and I want to be around you. You're like, I want to help you get to where you want to be. Like I am investing energy in you. And you're right. Like it really isn't hard to get things done if you have the right connections, if you know what hands you need to grease, like you can get it really done. Yeah. But for him to swoop in like that and it not be Charlie, I think it's a breath of fresh air. I feel like this episode is really about us coming together as a community and everybody pulling their part. Right. It's not just all on one person. We all have a job here. We all have certain skills. So for him to come in and kind of be that connection that gets them their land back, it's like, okay, now you got to give them some pussy, dog. Like you got to, right? Like you got my family's whole entire estate put as a historical landmark where no one ever in life, even after I'm gone, can touch it. Like I gotta give you what you want out of this point. That ain't just like some dinner,
that's
like
not all he wants.
Well, so we have a lot of comments about Charlie. We're gonna get to Charlie next, but before we get to her, let's finish talking about Dominic. I think Dominic, what I liked, okay, so following that conversation, Dominic and Nova go out for a walk and they always look great together in my opinion. I liked how Dominic kind of circled back and was like, I know I put the brakes on this before, but I'm interested in you. I want to give you all the things that a woman deserves. And Nova, I like how she responded as well with like, I'm done explaining myself. I've done the work on myself, and basically this is what you got. And he was all with it. I mean, it was just so romantic.
God don't make no mistakes, okay?
Yeah, God. Caesar said it. Okay, I'm gonna let you say what you said, but before you chime in, let me just go to the comments that are not about Charlie. Let's see. MD Turf says, I finally trusted Dominic fully.
Can you put the comments at the bottom of the thing? So
yeah, okay, I'll show this one. So MD Terms says, I finally trusted Dominic fully. Finally, see, this is why I love Clean Sugar, right? Because you have so many black shows where you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's like, okay, wait a minute, is he an undercover FBI agent trying to infiltrate her movement to get him? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always so much like suspicion and like cynicism about people that come in, especially when it's a love interest. But there's no catch. He's just a good guy, good old fashioned black guy for the people, and down when your ass is getting arrested and harassed by the police. Like he's the bee's knees. Okay. Let's see. Dominic really came through. I was really impressed that he took the time to get it done. And I mean, that's what he does, right? Yeah. And I think that goes back to my point about like, we have people around us who do shit that's really cool, and we just have to talk to him and find out. Like, he helps us out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Let's see. 10 cool points for Neighbor Bay. Yes.
Neighbor Bay.
Uh-huh. And I'm going to get to Trey's point. Let me see. Oh, I like this one. Dominic gave a real Cary Grant, Billy D. Williams type of romantic speech. Yes, season. Okay, your turn to chime in.
I mean, he just laid it on her thick, He was like, yeah, then God don't make no mistakes over him, baby. I want to say
he did not sound like a pimp, y'all.
Okay, he didn't sound like a pimp, but I was just like, okay, so
He kind of like, yeah, I mean, God don't make
I
no
saved your
mistakes.
land, and I'm gonna save you next,
I'm gonna
cause
say them draws.
you deserve the world, Miss Nova. It was
Yeah.
cute. I mean, let me see. Has my husband ever did he? I don't get he be writing me poetry and shit. So I felt Nova. I felt for
Oh,
Nova.
Oh my
He do.
God.
He does. He writes me poetry, y'all. So I
That's
was like, that's how my
no.
man be talking to me, girl. You better get that love and shit.
that is so romantical.
I
Brooklyn
did
World One
not
says,
know he wrote poetry.
I have to admit, when Dominic showed the paperwork, it's panty dropping time, Nova, that you and Ashley are on the same page with that. Yeah, I always go back to, I love the Black love on the show. We just talking about what's on the show, what's on the screen, child. Okay, we're not talking about nothing else. I love just the romance. I love the acceptance. And I've been on Nova's head in prior seasons about her relationships and the way she acts, but I like this for Nova. I like where she's at mentally. I like where this guy is at. It seems very, very beautiful. And I just think it's so important to see these images of Black love winning on on TV. And it didn't sprout out of trauma, I mean, even though they did have that shared thing, but it just sprouted from him walking and his sister moved next door. And he's like, hey, how you doing? I mean, he didn't sound like that. That's what I'm sounding like. But you know what I'm saying? So I just love to see romance. I love to see positive affirmations. I love people speaking life into each other. And I love where Nova, she said a lot of things. I do want to quote some of the things she said. He said, the world sees me as a problem needing to be solved. Woo! Let the church say, amen. Who can?
Come on. Yes. Writers.
She said,
exactly
my freedom and strength is a threat. Woo! Yeah. Hallelujah.
Absolutely, Jesus. Yes.
That is the story being Black in America, especially being a Black woman in America. Okay.
Specifically in America. Yeah. Everybody is trying to fix you, alter your personality, alter your actions. You are not enough. And it's not even like, it's not just, for me, it's not somebody saying that to my face. It's the microaggressions that get to me.
Yeah.
It's the white bitch at work that says, I know what I want you to do with your hair.
Oh,
girl, yes. That's a whole ass story on video. Yes.
Oh,
it's those shits that happen where it's like, bitch, you don't even know me, first of all, to be even feeling comfortable to talk to me like that. But that's what it feels like in America as a Black woman. They're always trying to police you, everything about you.
Yeah.
So I that scene with him and her, I'm like, ooh, my man talked to me like this, so I know this shit real, y'all.
Hey,
this, it was a beautiful scene, not just because he didn't just say like some off the top corny ass shit that just came to his head. He actually spoke about what her conversation was. She said that I am living fully to be me, like I am who God made me, and he made sure to say, I believe God didn't make mistakes. You're everything that Then they had the little candle. Y'all know I like to look at scenes, right? When they
you are seeing critic.
The aesthetics was on point. They styled that scene with that burnt orange on both of them, looking good. And then they had the light that was it was coordinated, girl. They had the little light fixture up that was fire, that was blazing.
I did like that. I like that.
Come on. Nova, drop them draws. Take them on, put them in his mouth. Girl, do what you gotta do, because he deserves it. Like, you see that this man deserves to get every inch of that gushy macaroni and cheese. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And I like to point out, I'm very happy that Nova has officially come back to being a Black woman. She's no longer a white woman, y'all.
She's no longer a Karen. Okay. Y'all been on Nova's head calling her a Karen. That wasn't me. That was y'all was calling her a Karen.
For now, she's now back to being Kim instead of Karen. Okay.
Not quite.
She ain't a Keyshawn.
Status.
She ain't
not
made
Keisha. She's not Keisha yet.
No,
She's
she
just
ain't
working her
Keisha.
way. Kim is Kim is
It's the
borderline.
middle, yeah.
Yeah. But I will say, I mean, the thing I think about it that's so important is, you have to be celebrated, not tolerated,
Absolutely.
and you want somebody to celebrate you like you celebrate yourself. And the first step is to celebrate yourself. That's number one.
Absolutely.
That is number one. Hey, Floss Obama. So I know for me, talking to, speaking about policing, people try to police me every day. Like, I will sit up there and record a video and I'll say motherfucker 25 times. And you'll have somebody saying, oh, that would be good if you didn't curse. Bitch, fuck you. Do you think that I wasn't convicted in my cursing when I just said it 25 times? You think I was like, oh, I'm going to say that, but I'm just waiting for somebody to tell me not to curse? Like, fuck off, And so there are always people that try to police you. But I think when it comes to relationships, it's so important that you kind of be firm in like who you are. I'm not saying you have to say I'm perfect and I'm never going to change, but it's so important to be celebrated. I'm celebrated by my husband, Jay. He likes my cursing. He don't give a damn. If he was like, oh, can you stop cursing? I'd be like, okay, who cloned you? What you do with my husband? Are you under duress? Is there somebody with a sniper rifle on you? Yeah. So, yeah. But I thought that was really beautiful. What, Season?
I mean, my husband hate that I cuss, but I don't give a fuck, nigga. It's too late. You should have
gotcha.
You 2 kids in, bro. Okay, the Obamas said congratulations to us.
Right. But okay, so we've talked a lot about Dominic and Nova. Beautiful. But I have to say, I was happy that Charlie got some of that beautiful romance too. I've been super team Charlie and Davis all season, so I feel very much redeemed for that. Let me go back to the comments about Charlie. Let's see. Let me go up. Karina says, Charlie has been everything to everyone else except herself. I'm glad she's finally pulling the reins. Yes. Oh, I should have put that up. Let me find the next one. Let's see. Okay, Trey Lovely Biggs. Maybe they're showing everyone else their magic instead of Charlie because she's not going to be there in the state anymore for anyone to lean on. Oh, we're gonna get to that. Seems like she's moving back to California. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. It was nice that Charlie didn't have to put on her cape to save the family. And she really hasn't been putting on her cape this season, child. She really been off on her own thing. You know what I'm saying? She has not garnered any wins. Let's see. Okay. I thought Charlie was going to give up on her run for Congress for a minute. Okay, so let's talk about Charlie. So we come to Charlie in terms of her own individual plot. And she's on the phone with Davis and she's talking about, how she just got back from DC and she was networking and hobnobbing and kissing babies and shaking hands and meeting donors. And she seemed to have a little bit of, kind of cold feet about it, but then she said, I'm just worried about my family. So Season, what do you think is like, where do you see this going with Charlie based on how that interaction went? Do you see, thanks Floss Obama, do you think that she is just like kind of like distracted by what's going on with her family, or do you think she's really like starting to wonder like, maybe this isn't what I'm looking for?
I mean, I think clearly it's her family because she finna move. She's ready to put some distance between them. Because, she really does have to save them. And it's like, especially this season, they didn't come to her until shit was all the way fucked up.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
It's one thing if you have to just help your family out. But if you got to save them because they drowning, they getting buried alive, they finna lose everything, that's a whole nother level of stress and just unnecessary bullshit. And she tired of it. So,
motherfucking time.
Yeah, so I thought she was maybe gonna just be like, I'm finna wash my hands, walk away from all this, and go be a housewife for a second too. But then it kind of showed like she tired of putting everybody first, and she really, and she wants to go enjoy her man and get geared up and ready to go for this Congress run. And I'm all for that. I think
Mhm.
she should, I think she doing exactly what her heart desires. And, Davis is clearly showing that he plans on being consistent and
Mm-hmm.
supportive. So I'm still Team Charlie, but I'm happy that she went ahead and been like, give me that ring. We finna go get us a little house on the beach. We finna kick it. I love that shit. I love that.
No, I totally predicted last week that she was going to change her mind about getting engaged because I just think she wanted it to kind of be on her, like she wanted to be her idea.
Mhm.
And she was just caught super off guard. And in that moment, she was just thinking about like my career, my career, my career. But the more she had to think about herself, like what she wanted, then I'm not surprised that she kind of switched her attitude about it. Ashley, what was your reaction to Davis once again being pop-up bae, surprising her with this romantic, well thought out thing? He's always so supportive of her, and when she's kind of
Mhm.
like, has this anxiety or has these kind of feelings,
Mhm.
what was your reaction to Davis popping up?
I am officially Team Charlie and Davis. I love them together. I think that he is absolutely a great redemption story. He did
Yes.
have some he didn't rape the girl. I found that out a couple of episodes ago. He didn't rape her, but when and it's rape is bad, right? Like that's
Yeah.
horrible. But it's also horrible just to embarrass your girl, like
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah, yeah,
embarrassed her.
yeah,
So to come back from that is a it's a level of trust that is very hard to come back. And most men, not all, most men, I don't think would put in that much effort. You get what I'm saying? Like they'll try, right? Like they'll try, they'll say they want to be there, but
yeah,
then when it really comes push to shove and it's really time for them to show up, it becomes too difficult, it becomes too much. They end up withering away. Everybody, we all done had an ex that came back at some point in life, okay? And they just didn't put in what they needed to put in to
yeah,
make me feel. So I really enjoyed that Queen Sugar did this take on it where he genuinely wants his girl back. Like he's
yeah,
like he recognizes the intensity that he created when he fucked up that bad, how he lost his girl. I'm glad that Charlie stuck to her guns, and stood up for herself. And now the reward for her choosing herself is she gets to choose a bomb ass ring and a man that truly adores the shit out of her. So I am here for it. I love it. I'm glad that
yeah,
she took it on her terms and that was,
yeah.
her choice. So yeah, I loved it.
And I think that what I appreciate about this whole arc is that he doesn't just like the idea of Charlie like other people have.
Yeah.
He loves Charlie, like all of it. And I
Yeah.
like what she said, you see my imperfections as a positive thing. And I think that's a very, very important part, celebrated, not tolerated. Once again, you know what I'm saying? And I love that I feel like he passed every test. Like when she was like, no, I'm not sure about this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he was like, I'm patient man, Charlie, and it paid off. So I love that. One of the things that's so consistent about this show is it's always about putting in the work to
Mm-hmm.
redeem yourself and not just being like, okay, all's forgiven. Like every person throughout the series has had to work for redemption, including Charlie,
Yeah.
Nova, Ralph Angel, Darla, Hollywood. Nobody has gotten
Yeah.
through this series without having to work for the trust and the redemption from those around them. Trey Lovely says, I'm Team Charlie. Davis' ass is suspect as hell to me, but I feel like this is something she's here to disapprove of that. It's something that she wants, so I'm okay with it. I'm glad she hasn't given up her political goals.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little, I'm not really sure where she's at with the political stuff. I mean, look, I am super into politics. Most people who follow Black Women Views know me from politics. Not so much this. Even though I used to do half and half. But it's a thankless fucking job. I would never want to be an elected person. I know people, they do it, they must do it for the love of the people. Cause child,
Mm-hmm.
getting elected is hard. Dealing with motherfuckers is annoying as shit. People ain't never satisfied. You get all the blame for shit that goes wrong. They act like they bird box when you do some good shit. I would never want to
Yeah.
fucking be bothered with it. So
And the pay sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I wouldn't blame her if she backed out. Trey also says, and don't forget that side baby he had on Charlie and never told her about.
Oh,
Davis
just
is a
stab me in
mess.
the heart and turn.
But you bringing up old shit, Trey. You
I
bringing up.
ain't never gone to. Once a cheater, always a cheater, baby. I'm
Well,
looking. I'm gonna sleep with one eye open, love or not.
in fairness, the little girl was like in her teens at this point. She ain't no baby. And it wasn't like, he was like, oh, I have a 2-year-old. Like, the little girl is practically grown now, okay? I'm not saying it's okay to have a break baby. Don't let the other side baby. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying.
We are not Gabrielle Union here.
Even Gabrielle said she would have left now, but it's whatever.
She didn't though.
She didn't.
Showing us there, baby.
She did it.
You had the opportunity and you didn't. Okay.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, Gabrielle said, like, how did I get in it? Anyways, MD Terp says, all I know is Davis better not mess it up again. He better value his queen. Yes, fucking better. But I loved, another thing that I did like is that, choosing yourself sometimes also means choosing love. And I love that aspect of it because, so many times people feel like, people are so guarded, which we'll talk about Billy. They're so guarded, they're so jaded, and they just can't take a risk. They can't take a chance on themselves, on love. And so I love that, Charlie is really showing what you can kind of have it all and you can stay true to yourself and you can get the true love. Shakira says, I'm finally team Charlie and Davis. It took me a minute. That picnic was cute. I really believe the second time will work out for them. Yes, I'm here for it. But let's just talk about the last thing. Is it sounds to me like Charlie is leaving St. Joe and she's moving to LA to be with Davis. I think she was probably going to move anyway, right? Because she was going to run. But I thought she was going to run for Senate in Louisiana. I thought that's what they had said last episode. And then now I guess she's maybe going to do it in California or she's not going to run at all. I don't know. But we might have seen the last of Charlie Donlin Gardner, which is sad because she's always been my favorite character. But if she's gone now, if this is it for her, I think she went out.
Is that saying that the actor is leaving or something?
Well, I don't know. But I mean, if her character is moving to California, then probably, even though they could still incorporate her into the show. So who knows? But I mean, either way, I feel like it's a great full circle moment for her. And I think I'm happy with where her plot has gone. I think that she's grown so much. She's just really coming to her own, and I love the relationship that her family has with each other. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Billy and Prosper. Now, you missed part of the show, Ashley. So basically, this episode, we found out just a little bit more about Billy's life. So her kids are grown. She said she was an empty nester, and she's in an awkward space with Vince, her husband. So basically this episode was about having that conversation with Vince, her husband, or actually not her husband. Come to find out, she never got married to him. And so I thought that was interesting. So essentially what it boiled down to is, and this is what Prosper even interjected, she was so kind of traumatized from her experience with Jimmy Dale that she just always felt like she needed to run away, be able to run away. That's why she never married Vince. But you got kids with him, so how the hell was you gonna run away, girl? That don't really, the math ain't nothing on that. But I mean, I just think, Ashley, it really goes to show how harmful and how lifelong the effects of some of these traumas are. I mean, she was really screwed over by Jimmy Dale and all that kind of stuff. So what is your take on just the fact that this situation with Jimmy Dale just basically had a massive impact on her ability to trust and love and even get married? Hey, Aunt Cookie.
Felicia. It just really shows that this whole idea that Black women are so strong and we have to always be strong and we get over stuff and we're not fazed by anything. It's like that's really a myth. We're
Mm-hmm.
human, you know,
Yeah.
and this is I really like the fact that they did not just let this 1 or 2 months or however long she's been there with her dad, these couple of conversations that they've had that we've been able to see, act like as if that was her therapy. She doesn't need anymore. She's over it. She's good.
Yeah.
Girl, you have been dealing with this, that you ran away from home because a man tried to assault you and nobody believed you and it tarnished who you were at 18. That
Yeah.
and now you're this old with your own kids. Of course that trauma is still with you. So I think it's very responsible of them. And Queen Sugar, I always say every week, I think they're very responsible with the conversation about mental health, you know, for them to show that even though she's able to help with the farmers and fight for them, even though she's able to raise kids, even though she's able to still move on with her life, there's still that piece of her, that little girl inside of her that is traumatized and hasn't been healed. So
Yeah.
I'm glad she really it explains why she runs. You
Yeah.
know, I got to get away before you get me type of deal. So yeah, it was that's responsible to show the facets of Black women and how we are more than just what y'all think we are. You know, we're human.
So season, I mean, I thought it was interesting that she identified that, you know, Vince has never done anything but love me. But she also said, I've never felt love for him like that. Like, you know, which I thought was, wow, that's really sad. And their conversation though didn't lead to, okay, maybe I should try to not run away from the situation. It was like, well, if I'm going to run, at least I'm going to run here. You know, like, what was your take? I mean, do you think that it would have made a little bit more sense for her to that now that she's identified the situation, for her to go face it? Or is it just like, well, Prosper's just happy? I mean, I loved what he said. Running is wrong because wherever you go is where you are. I've never heard that. I love that. I think that was so genius. What was your take on essentially still running by being a St. Joe?
I mean, it might be too late for her, which is the thing, you know.
With Vince.
He might be at a point, you know, he done had this is the woman he's had kids with her, right? Is this her?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they done had kids. He's probably wanted to get married, or he's probably done had to deal with trust issues or whatever, but it might just be too late for her to redeem that particular relationship, which is kind of sad. But you know, y'all know I went in on Prosper for not being there and protecting his daughter, and you can't put it all on Jimmy Dean either. I mean, what about Prosper too?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, that was a convenient scapegoat.
Yes. So for her to get to this point in her life where she's never felt protected by a man, she's never felt fully loved by a man. I can relate to that, you know. So it's like, is she's running, but she's been with the same man, so she's just really been really guarded, and like I'm not gonna get caught slipping. Like, I don't know what it's like to, or I don't know how to recognize a man that truly loves me and is gonna protect me and always be there. And that started at home. That started with her own dad, and it's just unfortunate that might have been too late for her and Vince. And now if she does ever want that connection, she's gonna have to start all over again. So she has a lot of digging and soul searching to do. And you know, if Vince don't want to stick around for that, then you know, too late. But
well, it seemed to me like Vince was like, because she said the conversation didn't go well, and like he said, you're always running. So it sounded to me like Vince wants to work it out, but he's like, you always running. And like, you know, I took it that he was resistant to her running away, but it sounded to me like that goose is cooked. Is that how they say it? Shakira says, I was so glad to see Billie open up to her father, but she still seems guarded to me. That's true. The trauma of sexual assault can stay with people for a long time. Absolutely. I think that they've done a lot for Prosper taking accountability and trying to bridge that gap. But And that moment, to your point, season, it's not just Jimmy Dale. That's
Jimmy
But
Dale.
she didn't have a conversation with Vi, right? So she ain't checked on Vi yet.
Yeah, and I'm assuming they're not going to do that. But I will say this: listen, if there is something that St. Joe don't have a shortage of, it's eligible bachelor share, because everybody on this show done been through multiple love interests. Shit. And I think Black woman, there needs to be a St. Joe for Black woman in real life. Now that's
where that's at.
Because
they only had to share one man, didn't they? Share that farmer. What's
Remy, that was damn Nova. We're not gonna, but we're off Nova. We're forgiving.
Yeah, we team Nova.
We team Nova.
I know.
They got Mexican men, they got Black men, they got white men. You can have it. They got women if that's what you want to. Shit, they got the whole buffet in St. Joe. So if you need to start over, Billy, you in the right damn place apparently.
True.
Okay. Hello. So yeah, okay. Let's talk about Micah and Isaiah. So, okay. The first scene with Micah and Isaiah was awkward, but I appreciate it. Trey Lovely Big says, yes, point me to that town, please. Hello. We're busy to the married, so we got the issue. But for the Black woman that's single, you need a St. Joe. Okay. They all employed, except for Ralph Angel, whatever.
Yeah,
but
some of them may be felons.
I hate to say it, but go on to Chicago. You only need about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah, that's where we found our husbands. We
if
both
you make it.
Girl, you gonna make it in Chicago. Don't believe what you see on the news.
I know. You might have to dodge a couple of bullets, but it's okay. Just stay out. Just not
the bullets I done dodged some bullets in Chicago, but they ain't come from no gun. They was just some shady ass men. But
hello.
Yes.
But okay, back to Micah and Isaiah. Okay, so Isaiah walked into Micah's room. He was still on some icing. Micah, like, fuck you all. Like, okay, you been giving me messages. I mean, okay, I'm putting extra on it. He was just very standoffish with Micah.
You think so?
Yes, you don't think so? Y'all in the comments chime in.
I think he came in like, yeah, I knew your ass was gonna come crawling back. What's up?
I did not.
That's what I felt from it. Like, yeah, thanks for the food. You ready to talk now? That's how I
did not get that energy. Okay, so you guys have to break the
I did.
Was Isaiah like, I'm not fooling with you, or was Isaiah like, yeah, I knew your ass was coming, gonna come crawling back?
That's how I felt.
To me, it was, I'm not fooling with you. That was what I got from it. But okay, season, your take on that whole scene with Isaiah and Micah. Micah apologized, and Isaiah was like, yeah, that's cool, but let's talk about what's really at some other time. So what was your take on that scene?
I mean, I think Isaiah's probably been here before. You know what I'm saying? He's very confident in who he is and his sexuality, even though it hasn't been defined for us as a viewer. He like, okay, well, he recognized he's recognized several times throughout the season that Micah, is feeling some type of way or letting things get to him. So I think he just was like, okay, yeah, you tripping, but I'm pretty confident in our friendship, so I'll just wait for you to cool off and we can talk then, but I'm not going to let you off the hook easy, which is where the whole, we need to get to the bottom of this, because like, you ain't going to keep going off on me and playing me to the left every time somebody look at you and think you gay. Like, what's up? So I didn't get the standoffish cold shoulder. I just got, okay, you back now, we finna talk. That's how I got it.
No, actually, I think one of the most actually unique aspects of Isaiah's character is you have a younger Black guy who's not kind of like looking for acceptance, who's not like trying to prove himself and like either direction, like, oh, you should want to be with me, or like, you should want to be friends with me. I feel like he's very, very, very confident in himself. and he's not letting his sexuality define him. So, and I just think that that's so unique because so often these plots kind of veer into like, I fell in love with my homeboy and I don't know if he wants to do the whole download thing in the closet thing or whatever the terminology you want to use. Because what show was I watching that was like that? I'm trying to think. Oh, it was did you guys ever watch Boomerang on BET? Yeah. No, okay. No. Well, you know, that's a typical type of thing where it's like a guy, maybe he's bi and he's, you know, whatever, and there's like a secret relationship situation. The whole point is that he was not ever trying to like push to define anything or push to prove himself. He was always very much rooted in his self. What is your reaction to that? But before you say something, let me go to a couple of these comments. Trey Lovely says, Isaiah seemed weary. Thank you. See, I got the same comment. Like he knew they needed to have a heavy talk and he doesn't have to be fooling with folks that's not trying to be rude with him. Okay, we here. All right. Let's see. MD Terp says, let me tell you that conversation with Mike and Isaiah was so powerful. I wish more men could be open, vulnerable, and express non-sexual intimacy with each other without fear of being labeled gay. Yes. And I want to get to that part. Yeah, I want to get to that part. But before we get to that, Ashley, your reaction to just Isaiah's confidence in himself and the way that he kind of demands accountability from people around him.
You know, it was really, I'm agreeing with MD Terp. I'm on the same page as you. It was so powerful to see him be so strong in who he is and not let not only this old ass dude who was talking shit at your little, you know, picture show, right? Not even him or my own friend that I've sent and I genuinely care about. I'm not letting neither one of y'all faze me.
Yeah.
Because I know who I am. So that really, I mean, it takes, I don't know about y'all, but it took me to get into my late 20s, absolutely probably my 30s, for me to get that level of confidence where it's like, no matter who you are, you cannot shake me in what and who I am, what I am, and what I stand for. So I loved every single piece of that scene. I think he was just, you know, it's refreshing. It's just, Queen Sugar always gives those refreshing moments where you see a character that you've never seen on TV in that way. So I loved it.
I loved the talk. Usually the talks are not good conversations. They're very cliche. They're very corny. But the talk that they had was so magnificent. I mean, I loved the way, like, this whole season we've been trying to figure out, like, okay, where are they going with this? Are they trying to say that, you know, are they trying to like basically break down the whole toxic masculinity and the whole notion that Black men cannot be friends, platonic friends, or whatever? And last episode, we talked about intimacy and we talked about how women can basically have essentially, you know, non-romantic intimate relationships. And Black men don't necessarily have that grace. And they address that perfectly this episode. I love how they put it all out there very explicitly because we haven't had the conversation. We haven't heard the word gay be mentioned. I don't remember hearing the word gay be mentioned at least at all. It has always been kind of hinted around, but it hasn't been explicitly mentioned. So I thought that, you know, Micah saying, I don't, as certain as you can possibly be about, you know, this, I don't think I'm gay, but I have feelings for you. My feelings and my heart don't match my feelings in other ways. And then they flat out came out and said, I don't want to sleep with you. And I thought that was a really, really good moment because it's like, all right, so we've established that, yes, we have feelings, but it's not necessarily a sexual thing. And even Isaiah kind of joked around because it might have been presumptuous of Micah. Maybe Isaiah don't want to sleep with Micah. Maybe Isaiah likes him tall, dark, and handsome or something. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. They haven't had that conversation. So I love that. But to me, before I get to that part, let me just say, MD Therapy says, Queen Sugar's Twitter account tweeted, having a deep connection with someone doesn't mean it has to be transactional. So true. To me, though, it was the most beautiful moment, then the whole Darla birth scene and the hug, and that became the most beautiful moment. But one of the top, let's say 5 most beautiful moments for me in the history of Queen Sugar and possibly even TV that I could think of was when Micah said, I love you.
Yes.
And then Isaiah said, I love you too. And I just absolutely thought that that was just a magnificent moment in TV and what that means to have that discussion in the way they had it and just say, I love you. Because we say, oh, I love you, man. I love you. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't that kind of energy. It was like, I love you. And it was just very tender and very sincere. And it wasn't, and I think that's been my favorite part about this whole plot was that it wasn't about a sexual thing. It was really about that deep connection. Season, your reaction to that whole scene.
I mean, I even struggle with telling people outside of my husband and my baby, I love them. So to say that to your friend and have to after that whole conversation and confrontation of your feelings, like I was like, oh my God, they like for real, like friends. I thought it was nice too. I wasn't expecting it. I thought Michael was attracted to him, so for them to go in that direction, I was like, okay, this is what's up. Like, so I'm with you. It was a very powerful moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love you, Season. I love you, Reese.
I love you too. Well, I think that it's you know what, it just simplify things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to all these labels can mean a whole bunch of things, but it was simple. I love you, and that's what this means. This means that I love you. It doesn't have to mean anything else. It means that I care about you. It means that I'm connected to you. And I think that is one of the most important labels. And I think it's just so basic. And I'm wondering, MD Terp, let me see, because I want to see his perspective on this before I go to you, Ashley. He says, you're not that I'm trying to make you the spokesperson, Chad, because I know that's a little cliche trying to make somebody spokesperson. But yeah, my heart was exploding when they said they loved each other. People have a hard time even saying they love their family members. They love them. So for them to say that had me like, yes. I'm wondering if, I mean, I don't want to sound at all like I'm saying that sexuality shouldn't be a thing, or people shouldn't have labels, or people shouldn't, whatever. I'm not trying to be all lives matter when it comes to that community. But what I'm trying to say is I think what was so powerful is that there is such a need for people to put Black men specifically in this box of like, this is what this means if you do X, Y, and Z things. And they're all arbitrary things. I mean, we've seen people tweet stuff like, oh, a man, somebody said one time, if a man eats the free bread, that's gay. Or I'm like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, there are so many just stupid, and there's nothing wrong with being gay, be clear, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying there's so many arbitrary things that people put on you that have absolutely nothing to do with being a particular or sexual orientation on them. And so I just felt like they really just brought it down to like, this isn't about a label, it's about a connection that we have. So sorry, I know I was long-winded on that. Ashley, what was your reaction?
I feel like when it comes to the labels and putting people in boxes, I think that this was such a natural thing that they put themselves, they put themselves in a category. We want to be just friends. I'm not attracted to you like that, but it wasn't forced. It wasn't, come from negativity. It was genuinely, this is our friendship and we have to identify what this is. But, for Isaiah's reaction, the way he said, I love you too, it's like, yeah, like, of course I love you too. Like, it was so nice. Like, I like to say, I love you. I like to tell people I love you. I love to hug my friends. I don't know. It just feels real good, but it really, I feel like this was such a needed moment on TV that I wish it was on prime time.
My gosh, right.
I love that it's on own network for us, by us, Black people. I get that. But I would love for this show to be on prime time where it's for the masses. You get what I'm saying? Because this is such a scene that you don't see this on TV. You don't see, you rarely see it. I have some male friends that are pretty, expressive when it comes to their feelings, but not to this level of intimacy. And honestly, I don't know if Isaiah is, gay, bisexual. We don't know what his sexual orientation. So he could be straight.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
It
know.
could be.
But
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
It's just that I loved it. I loved it. This was a very, very good, well-rounded episode. It really was.
Yeah. And I think to your point, Ashley, it's like one of those things where it's like, this is so powerful, and it's so what we need in our community to really be the things. And I watch Real Housewives of Potomac. I watch all the other shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to be like, I don't watch this garbage, whatever. But this feels like a moment, and it's being missed by way too many people. And I loved everything about it. And it really paid off because it built to this moment all season. Yeah. And they didn't make it too easy because ultimately, Micah did have a little bit of anxiety and struggles with it. And so all of it made sense. And I loved it. Yeah. Stu says, this was such a powerful and strong moment between these brothers. Shakira says, I really love the scene. Intimacy doesn't always have to mean sex. Society has made Black men feel like it's wrong to show feelings and emotions with each other. That was a beautiful scene. Karina says, I think it's important to tell your friends and family how you feel about them. This was a great scene with Micah and Isaiah. Yes. Let me see. Did I miss anything else? Oh, okay. MD Terp, I do not like labels. Labels provide comfort for humans because we are obsessed with putting people in boxes to compare them to ourselves. Absolutely. So in that sense, it's what made the conversation more powerful because there were no labels. There was no conversation about sexuality, just brotherly love. Thank you. It
shows that it exists. It shows that it absolutely exists. There's people out there like this. There's men out there like this.
Yeah, and this would be completely uncontroversial if this was with two women. Yeah, absolutely. This is like, it's revolutionary in the sense of two Black men, and especially younger Black men. But this is not any different than how Black women or women in general have interact with each other. But it was beautiful. It was a magnificent moment. And I loved it. I loved it. They handled it just brilliantly. Okay, last thing to talk about is the farm. So we already talked about the fact that they got the historic landmark, and so then we have the co-op. And so now the big meeting is Parker coming in instead of her father to shut down the niggas. She's in there to put you niggas in their place and be like, no, we still taking your damn hard-earned family land. That is some straight up coon shit, Parker. I love Parker, but I'm like, damn, Parker, you are a cold-blooded bitch. And I love me some Amira Van. She came up in there like, y'all wasting my time. Let's get this over with. I loved how that scene played out. I loved how, immediately almost they bring out the landmark thing. And she's like, this land is going to be useless to me. But she's still in that little evil stage, which I don't understand why. She ain't even been involved in the Landry's, but she's the illegitimate bastard baby that was been off in some other state. So I don't even get where her energy is coming from when it comes to this. But okay, that's fine. So she had that. And then, so they continue to kind of drop bomb after bomb. And it's like, okay, well, guess what? We're going to buy that land. And then when they brought Theo, I was like, what in the hell is Hollywood ass doing? I'm going to be so fucking mad if you had everybody having these great endings and then Hollywood end up somewhere dead in the ditch because he's chasing after Theo's behind. But apparently, Hollywood brought Theo's ass all battered and bruised back to St. Joe for this meeting to say, we are going to put your ass on blast because we know where all the bodies are buried. And that was really the ace in the hole. So my favorite comment was Charlie. If this was the last comment that Charlie makes on the series of Queen Sugar, she went out like my girl Charlie always goes out. She said, I'm glad that you showed up instead of your father because this was a lot more fun. Yes, Charlie. That's the Charlie that I'm talking about. The bad bitch coming up in here wrecking shop. Charlie, I was totally with it. Ashley, you first, your reaction.
These light-skinned hoes been winning on this show, okay? Let me tell you. Yikes, Charlie. You did not have to take that knife and twist it in there. I love that line.
I loved it.
Because it's
Loved
like
it.
you thought you was coming in here. You thought you ate, huh? You really thought you ate.
Yes.
No,
Chef's
girl,
kiss.
but I love the fact that they were stacked with stuff. They didn't just come in with one bomb. They came prepared with multiple bombs to make sure they put the nail in that coffin and we ain't got to worry about you ever again. So I love that. But did Hollywood beat up old boy? Like, why was he all beat up?
Yeah, Hollywood beat his ass.
Okay.
Now let's be honest. That's not how that would have worked. But okay, but I enjoyed it for the show.
Yeah, I definitely liked all the bombs that they came and said, we about to buy this land. The one you thought you was getting from us is useless. Like, we're not coming to play checkers. We are playing chess. That's what I felt like Charlie was saying. I'm playing chess and you don't know what the fuck you doing.
And I feel like because Parker said at first, this is a draw, and then Vi said, she said, are you sure? Because this sure feels like we're winning. I love that. I mean, they were getting in Parker's ass, and she was just so bitchy. So I was like, it was like, you know, it's not like The Harder We Fall where it's like you want to root for Regina King's character even though she's the villain. Like, this was like unequivocally like, beat her ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, Parker's the villain, hands down, and they were getting the best of her. And I just loved every moment of it. Season, what was your reaction?
I was like taken aback. I was like, why is she being so bitchy? Like, I didn't get where the energy came from either.
Yeah.
So, but my favorite line is when Charlie was talking about, you know, your ancestors killed my ancestor. I was like, oh, she pulling the white card on Miss Parker, honey. Like, yeah, your people been evil for a long time, but we didn't get the last laugh. And Parker was tired.
She said, we're changing the game. Yeah.
So I definitely like the way that Parker got shut down. Because, you know, I'd be confused. They were I'm Vi, call a meeting with the Landry and pull your last little card. I was like, you know, we know Aunt Vi ain't got no clout. So when they had to ganged up on Parker, I was like, okay, now I see that the Borderlands don't get shit done.
Yeah.
And when Theo came from the back all rough and tumbled up, I was like, damn, Hollywood. That nigga, he got weight in these streets. Like, he really whooped his ass. So
for real. Well, and not only
he
that,
bad, y'all.
I thought Theo was a thug, but he
apparently Theo was not every convict is a thug, apparently. But hello, some of these motherfuckers just dumb and got caught. Okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, I thought it was interesting because apparently they have been using him. And so I think that they really made the right move the way they maneuvered this, because it was obvious that the land wasn't going to be enough and they were going to always hold this shit over Ralph Angel's head. So now they got shit on each other. Let me go to a couple of the comments. When Charlie said, I'm glad you came instead of your father. That was fun. That was everything. I think that's going to be one of my top favorite Charlie lines of all time, because, you know, Charlie always gets that victory. She's like the Papa Pope, you know, Joe Morton, like, you know, she always gets those zingers in where she gets to like just twist the knife. So I love that for her. Let's see. Parker walked in strong when she was about to shut all of them down with the quickness. Parker is going hard because she's trying to prove herself to her white family. She's the little bastard. She's the little bastard child that they done shipped the fuck off.
Trying to earn her meals.
Yeah, girl, you still gonna be the little bastard child. So you really need to play a little bit of double agent going on. Parker came in there looking like she was runnish and left in there with her face broke. And they high-fived after she left. She had no cards left. Sue says Theo is a thief, not a thug. Obvious. Okay, because he got his ass beat. So with that said, the only thing I will say, and then I'll wrap it up. The only thing I would say was, okay, so what's going to happen with the co-op? Because they got all these people on board and trying to convince to do that. And then now it's like, okay, well, we're just gonna use that as a bargaining chip. I didn't really care for that.
I didn't like that part either. Like,
Yeah.
these people handed you your money just so you can make a play against the Landrys. What y'all finna really do with this damn co-op? So I didn't like that either.
Yeah, I didn't like that. So hopefully that's not what it is. But I mean, it's not just that piece of land. They can go in on other properties. So okay, maybe. But I mean, I wouldn't like if that's what all this was about, because they always seem to kind of like use other people as a bargaining chip, and I don't care for that. I don't care for that. Yeah. So, overall though, brilliant season. I think it was heads and shoulders above the pandemic season. I think that they really got back to what makes Queen Sugar so stellar. Beautiful stories, just deep characters, just amazing acting, beautiful cinematography, scenery. It just feels like a love letter to Black people in a time where there's so much bullshit coming on. It's really a reprieve, but it's not like a comedic reprieve. It's really just a nice way of just showing that Black people, we go through shit, but we got family, we got love, we got determination, and we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right, and we still have to celebrate moments of joy. So, last words of the season. You start us off.
Good job, Queen Sugar. I agree that pandemic season was depressing as fuck. And I'm pretty happy with where all the characters are right now. I'm still mad at Ralph Angel and Prosper. I'm sorry, but new beginnings next season. Hopefully, I'm still wondering where Ralph Angel money went, where it's at. But I'm gonna chill on him, and I'm kind of excited to see what they come up with next season, especially if it's gonna be the final season. I like how Vi calmed down. Hollywood is a gangster. He stepped up several times. Several people, and I liked it. We gonna see what's we gonna see what Queen Sugar rocking with next season.
Yeah, I think they're set the stage for a lot of positive developments for the last season. Ashley, your final thoughts on season 6 Queen Sugar?
Season 6 Queen Sugar. I definitely think this was a good season. This was probably one of their best seasons.
Yeah,
to
for
be
sure.
honest. I feel like even though they gave us like some cookie cutter moments, that was kind of wrapped up nice in a bow, I still feel like it came at the right moments where it made the story just move so smoothly. It was a good, easy watch. It was very entertaining. And I really love how responsible they were with Black stories, and not just the typical Black stories you see about a rapper and a stripper or baby mama or something like that. But they really gave us deep emotions with these Black stories. So I loved everything about it. I can't wait to see, what happens with Charlie and Davis, what happens with the white woman and her new man. I just...
Oh, come on. I thought we established she's Kim now.
Okay. Kim and her new man. I'm excited to see what happens with Micah. Because even with that, it's really like, this is what happens when you go to college and when you're starting to evolve into your own self. You go through these moments. And I love that the overall story I took from it was that we are better together than we are apart.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
If we gonna learn anything from Crying Kofi, is that you cannot do it on your own. You have to have and lean. Even though you have a support system, you have to lean on that support system, even when it feels like you don't want to, or it's just hard. So I'm here for next season for sure. I hope we're gonna be on a recap too, right?
Yes, of course. Y'all the recap queen.
Ava gonna be here next. She gonna be here next season. Ava gonna be watching.
Yeah, I maybe for all we know, Ava might secretly. You're talking about Ava DuVernay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, I'm sure you're talking about my baby or Ava.
Your baby know what's up already. She hears me.
We don't. If Ava, if by any chance you're probably not watching an hour and 23 minutes, Jill, but if by any chance you ever see this, thank you for giving us this gift.
Yes,
thank you for giving us this magnificent show.
One, girl.
Yes. Well, I like Cherish the Day. I don't know if you ever watched that, but she had that show that was on OWN. Cherish the Day. It was like a love story, But but anyway, moral of the story is I love what we experienced. Looking forward to another season. And that's it. It's a wrap. Season 6, Queen Sugar. We will be back talking about Insecure, which ain't nearly as deep as this channel. We be having to pull stretch. But we are done with Queen Sugar. Thank you guys for being such a lovely audience. I've loved chatting with you guys every week. I'm not gonna shout out everybody's name, chat, because if I miss somebody, I don't want to anger anybody. But y'all know y'all been ride or die. It's been amazing. Thank y'all. We love y'all. Yes. Aww. Tell somebody you love them. Okay. Let's keep that good energy going. Be joyful. Black joy is an act of resistance. And we're out. See y'all. Anybody who watches Insecure on Sunday. Bye, y'all. Thank you, Season and Ashley.